Historical places in Indonesia. In Indonesia, there are a lot of historical places that are not less interesting than modern tourist destinations as today, which are now increasing in number. History, of course, has its own charm that can also amaze visitors. Bogor Palace. Bogor Palace is one of the 6 presidential palaces of Republic of Indonesia, which has its own uniqueness due to its historical, cultural, and fauna aspects. One of them is the existence of deer imported directly from Nepal and has remained awake from the past until now. Bogor Palace was built in 1745 by Gustav Wilhelm van Ninhoff, a governor-general of the Dutch East Indies. This place was used as a place to rest for the colonial officials. Fort Rotterdam. Fort Rotterdam is a fortress located in Makassar, South Sulawesi province, and is a relic from the Dutch colonial era. Even so, the fact is that this building was not built by the Dutch but was built by the Goa Kingdom, which later fell into the hands of the invaders in 1667. Previously, this fort had the name of Ujung Pandang Fortress. However, the name was changed by the Dutch into Fort Rotterdam. The Indonesian couldn't stay still and tried to retake this fortress led by the fighters Sultan Hasanuddin. Prambanan Temple. Prambanan Temple or Roro Jonggrang Temple, located in the special region of Yogyakarta, is the largest Hindu temple complex in Indonesia, which was built in the 9th century AD. This temple is dedicated to the Trimurti, the 3 main Hindu deities, namely Brahma as the creator god, Vishnu as the guardian god, and Shiva as the god of destruction. On the walls of each temple, you can see reliefs that tell interesting Hindu epics to follow. Geography. Indonesia consists of 17,508 islands, about which are scattered over both sides of the equator. The 5 largest islands are Java, Sumatra, Kalimantan, New Guinea, and Sulawesi. The capital, Jakarta, is on Java and is the nation's largest city, followed by Surabaya, Bandung, Medan, and Semarang. Jakarta, Indonesia's capital, is also the nation's most modern city. Government and politics. Indonesia is a republic with a presidential system. The provinces of Aceh, Jakarta, Yogyakarta, Papua, and West Papua have greater legislative privileges and a higher degree of autonomy from the central government than the other provinces. Economy. Major industries include petroleum and natural gas, textiles, and mining. Agricultural products include palm oil, rice, tea, coffee, spices, and rubber. Rice is the chief food crop of Indonesia, as well as bananas, cassava, coconuts, corn, peanuts, spices, and sweet potatoes. Java, the most industrialized island of Indonesia, has thousands of small farm villages. An east-west chain of mountains extending across Java includes many volcanoes, and some of them are active. Religious beliefs. Indonesia has the largest Muslim population of any nation, and in 1990, the population was reported to be 87% Muslim. There is a well-educated and influential Christian minority with about twice as many Protestants as Catholics.
Marriage. People in Indonesia gain the status of full adults through marriage and parenthood. Certain societies in Sumatra and eastern Indonesia practice a final alliance, in which marriage are arranged between persons in particular patrilineal clans or lineages who are related as near or distant cross cousins. Division of labor by gender. Men predominate in hunting and fishing, which may take them away for long durations, while women are found in the urban workforce in stores, small industries, and markets, as well as in upscale businesses, but nearly always in fewer numbers than men. Food, customs, and ceremonial occasions. The most striking ceremonial occasion is the Muslim month of fasting, Ramadan. Even less observant Muslims fast seriously from sunup to sundown despite the tropical heat. Each night during Ramadan, final celebratory meals are held. The month ends with Eid al-Fitr, a national holiday when the family, friends, neighbors, and work associates visit each other's homes to share food treats. Here are some Indonesian family values. First, they honor the parents. Second, they are loyal to family members. Third, they provide financial assistance. Fourth, the advice from the elders must be respected. Fifth, young ones should not talk back to the elders. Education. The Indonesian education system is the fourth largest in the world with more than 50 million students, 3 million teachers, 300,000 schools. Primary to high school level is compulsory. Primary and middle school is free, while in high school, there are small fees.
Indonesian population. In 2020, Indonesia has the total population of 272,211,759. Indonesia population is equivalent to 3.51 of the total world population. Indonesia ranks number 4 in the list of countries and dependencies by population. The population density in Indonesia is 151 per square kilometer, 391 people per square mile. The total land area is 1,811,570 square kilometer. 56.4 of the population is urban, 154,188,546 people in 2020. This is the population of Indonesia 2020 and historical, starting from 2015 up to 2020. And this is the Indonesia population forecast, year 2020 up to 2040. Population of main cities in Indonesia includes boroughs, district, urban agglomerations, and etc. Indonesia traditional games. Bola Bekol. This game has several steps, sitting one by one seat, then flip the one to true shape and turn the other one to the opposite shape. Do it in sequence until completing all the steps. Ankle. It was the game played by boys and girls and can be played by 2 or more people. Zakon. This game was called Zakon or Congklak. This was known in all regions in Indonesia. In Java, the game is known as Congklak, Zakon, Zakon or Zakonan. In Lampong, the game is called Dentuman Lamban. In Sulawesi, referred to as Makautan, Magalesang, Agalakang, and Nugarata.
Indonesian literature.
Periods of Indonesian literature. Pujangga Lama or the literaries of olden times. Pujangga Lama or the old poets was written before the 20th century. It is a lively oral tradition used in traditional Malay language literature. Second period, Sastra Melayu Lamar or the older Malay literature. The works from this period were predominantly popular among the people in Sumatra, the Chinese, and the Indo-Europeans. Third period, Angkatan Balay Pustaka or the generation of the Colonial Office for Popular Literature 1908. Fourth period, Angkatan Pujangga Baru or the New Literates 1933. During this period, national consciousness among young Indonesian intellectuals was well developed. Fifth period, Angkatan 1945 or the generation of 1945, dominated by the thoughts of independence and political manner. Sixth period, Angkatan 1950 to 1960 or the generation of 1950s, characterized by the Kisa magazine established by H.B. Jasin. Seventh period, Angkatan 1966 to 1970
or the generation of 1966 into the 1970s. Rising the Horizon magazine led by Mokhtar Lubis. 8th period, Angkatan 1980 or the decade of the 1980s, dominated by romance novel. 9th period, Angkatan Reformasi or the post-Suharto Reformation period. 10th period, Angkatan 2000 or the generation of 2000s. Ika Kurniawan, first Indonesian writer nominated for this Man Booker International Prize for his novel Man Tiger, translated by Labudali Simbiring. Ayu Utami wrote the most talked about book Saman. Astra Wangi, Indonesia's sexy feminist literary movement, also called fragrant literature. Raisa Afandi, just 11 years old when she wrote her first novel Mimi Boo in the Missing Diary.
Indonesian language. Indonesian language or Bahasa Indonesia is closely connected with Malay. There are 43 million native speakers, 155 million second language speakers, mainly Indonesian, the national language and the sole official language. So why Indonesia have so many second language speakers than the native speakers? Well, there are hundreds of languages spoken in Indonesia, and Indonesian function as a lingua franca between speakers of different language. But most Indonesians still speak a different regional languages as their native language. There are some features of Indonesian language. One is simple phonology and orthography. The second is simple SVO sentence structures. Third, there are no case inflection. There are also no grammatical gender. There are also no plural form. So for explicit plurals, they use reduplication. For example, rumah, which means house. It will be duplicated as rumah-rumah, which means houses. And lastly, the most important, there is no verb conjugation. Here are the most used phrases for greetings in Indonesia. Hello, which means hi or hello in English. Selamat siang, selamat siang, which means good day, usually used 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Selamat sore, selamat sore. It means good afternoon and usually used between 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Selamat malam, selamat malam. It means good night and usually used 6 p.m. to midnight. Selamat pagi, selamat pagi. It means good morning and usually used between midnight to 11 a.m. Selamat tinggal, selamat tinggal, which means goodbye. There's also another one which is sampai jumpa, which means see you. It can be formal or informal. Dan itu saja. Terima kasih untuk mendengarkan. Selamat tinggal.
Everybody has his burden, an Indonesian folktale. Characters in the story are roots, trunks, leaves, and fruits. The themes of the story are burden and complaints. Everybody has his burden is an Indonesian folktale. Note, the author is unknown. It is just preserved through oral transmission from generation to generation. Once there was a mango tree. It had large branches which gave generous shade and bore many luscious fruits. Everybody who saw the fine yield of fruit admired the tree and wished they owned a tree like it. One day, a complaining voice was heard right at the bottom of the tree. Poor me! What a burden I have to bear! I've got to carry such a load, the heavy trunk, all the huge branches, all the leaves and fruit. So heavy is my load that I'm buried alive in the soil. Only God knows my sufferings. What a nice life the trunk has. When the trunk heard the sullen outburst, he answered, My dear brother, don't talk like that. Do you really think I have a nice life? You don't know I have to bear the weight of those great branches and all the load of fruit in me. I'm always frightened when there is a hard whirlwind shaking my body. The whirlwind turns and twists my body so bad. You don't know how it hurts. I am fortunate if I don't break into two. If I do, then everything is finished. Of what use are those leaves? They only have a nice life, dancing whenever there is a slightest breeze. The grumbling of the trunk was heard by the leaves. They fretted to hear those words of envy about themselves. So they said grumpily, "How sad we are to hear you both talking like that. How ungrateful you both. Isn't it we who protect you from the burning rays of the sun? And what about the rainy season? We always do our best to protect you from the harsh squalls that drench you. How can you say that we have a nice life? It's the fruit who have a nice life, hanging and swinging all day. It is the fruit that counts for everybody." Fruits were saddened to hear this talk. My dear brothers and sisters, how sad we are to hear your words. It is far from the truth of what we actually feel and what we have to face every time. We are the most to be fitted. How about the children who had thrown stones at us when we are doing our best to take care of ourselves and ripen into beauties that people will want to buy? If we are not sweet and delicious and pretty, people won't buy us. Stop! Stop talking! No need to talk anymore. All of you depend on me. If I don't exist, all of you will not be there. So, it must be among people too, say the buttocks. Think what others feel before you take a step. The true balance of democracy is when the leaves, fruits, trunks, and roots are all taken into the picture.